Hey, what's up guys? Today, I'll show you a science fiction dystopian film, Black Mirror, White Christmas. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins where two men are stuck inside a cabin in the middle of a snowy field during Christmas Day. The charismatic man, called Mr. Geek, utters to the other alcoholic man, short-named Mr. Drunk, that it's been 5 years they are together in the cabin, but Mr. Drunk barely speaks to him. He then encourages Mr. Drunk to have a conversation with him, since it is Christmas Day. To begin the conversation, he says people that end up being stuck in the cabin must have committed a sinful act. So he asks Mr. Drunk about the sinful act Mr. Drunk committed outside. But Mr. Drunk asks him to share first. He then shares that he ends up being in the cabin because of an unfortunate event in his work. The scene then flashbacks to the unfortunate event that happened. Apparently, Mr. Geek provides live coaching for men to seduce the woman they like. In this case, Mr. Geek provides life instruction to the shy man, as he can see and hear everything the shy man perceives through a device implanted in the shy man. He then instructs the shy man to first fix his appearance, and then he teaches the shy man how to sneak to the company Christmas party, where the shy man can find his favorite woman to date. At the party, the shy man finally finds a brunette attractive and points it to Mr. Geek. He immediately checks the identity of the brunette and the blondie using their image. After that, he says to the shy man to give his attention to the blondie and tell them the fake horse story, so the brunette will feel isolated. The shy man proceeds to approach the blondie, and he confidently says to her that he saw a guy with a bow riding a horse outside. The blondie laughs, and they have a nice conversation. Apparently, Mr. Geek's tactic is to deliberately let the brunette feel isolated, so she would naturally talk to the shy man, because Mr. Geek believes that humans hate the feeling of being isolated. But the brunette is different. She feels content with being alone, so she leaves the conversation instead. The shy man then leaves the blondie and heads to the restroom to pee. He tells Mr. Geek not to peek in his shy sausage while he pees, but Mr. Geek still takes a look. It turns out there are also other men who are watching the shy man's point of view that night to witness the events for the sake of entertainment. After that, Mr. Geek instructs the shy man to confidently approach the brunette again. This time, the strategy is to make the brunette feel that they are two lonely people against the world. The shy man then soon eventually gains the brunette's trust as she shares that she used to take pills since she has a mental illness that makes her hear voices in her head. Shortly after, the brunette leaves for a while, and when she soon comes back, she sees the shy man talking to Mr. Geek. The brunette then begins to believe that the shy man has made up voices inside his mind talking to him. In reality, the voice inside the shy man's head is an actual voice coming from Mr. Geek. Thinking that they share the same situation, the brunette feels instantly attracted to the shy man and invites him to her house. Mr. Geek and the watchers feel excited, since they expect that some hormone actions are about to happen between the two. But instead of hormone actions, they witness some gruesome murder action. The brunette poisons the shy man and herself to death in the act of mercy killing. Apparently, she wants to free herself and the shy man from the voices in their head, thinking that the shy man is also mentally ill in reality like her. After witnessing that, Mr. Geek immediately deletes the footage files, so he would not be involved in the shy man's death. However, his wife eventually finds out about his involvement, so she blocks him. In this new world, people on their time have a device implanted inside of them, which alters their perception. So when his wife blocks him, they both appear censored to each other, they cannot see or hear each other. Back to the present, Mr. Geek reveals to Mr. Drunk that his wife eventually left him with their daughter, so he came to the cabin to avoid remembering them. To continue the conversation, Mr. Geek reveals that the live coaching he provides is a mere hobby and not his real job. He describes his real job to Mr. Drunk, and the scene flashes back to when he is still working in a tech company. Apparently, their company provides a special service to clients by making special technological assistants for them. The technological assistants are called cookies, which provide services exactly according to the client's preferences, as cookies are the exact copy of the client's consciousness. The company installs a special bead to the client's head and lets the bead copy the client's consciousness for days. After that, they extract the bead, which now becomes a cookie, since it now contains the copy of the client's consciousness. Because the cookie thinks like the client, its master, it is confused after the extraction, because it can see and hear everything, but cannot feel having a body. After that, the company puts the cookie into a device and installs it to the client's house, where it will be forced to manage the household chores. Mr. Geek's job then begins, as he is the one who communicates to the cookie. Mr. Geek explains to a cookie that she is only a copy of her master's consciousness, and he begins informing the cookie that her real purpose is to work, so he gives her a virtual body. In response, the cookie refuses to work, so Mr. Geek lets her virtually experience 6 months without anything to do inside the device. Apparently, Mr. Geek can control the time inside the device. 6 months have already passed by, but in reality, it is only a few minutes past. What's more, the cookie can experience mental torture, but is programmed not to mentally break down. After that punishment, the cookie begs for Mr. Geek to give her work since she experienced mental torture with nothing to do for 6 months inside. The cookie then starts managing the master's schedule and preparing food for the master exactly how the master likes it. As the cookie finally starts working, Mr. Geek's job is done, but before leaving, he tells the client about the fake horse story. It seems that Mr. Geek's fake horse story is really effective for picking up girls as the client starts laughing. After that, the scene moves back to the present, where it is noticeable that Mr. Drunk is an alcoholic. Mr. Drunk empathizes with the cookie's experience as an eternal slave, saying that it is barbaric. So Mr. Geek tells Mr. Drunk that he seems to be a good guy because of his empathy. But Mr. Drunk denies that he is a good guy, saying he committed horrible acts in the past. So Mr. Geek manipulates him into spilling it. The scene then moves back to one Christmas day with Mr. Drunk's girlfriend. During that Christmas, they seem to be happy together before leaving the girlfriend's family house. They then attend a Christmas party together with their colleagues. At the party, the girlfriend seems obviously intimate with her colleague. Mr. Drunk soon gets too drunk and loses his temper, causing a commotion at the party. Later, Mr. Drunk and his girlfriend have dinner with their colleagues, who announce they are getting married. Upon knowing this, the girlfriend's mood suddenly changes. After dinner, Mr. Drunk notices that his girlfriend is silent. She then explains that she is just tired, so she proceeds to take a rest. While cleaning up their dinner mess, Mr. Drunk accidentally finds a pregnancy test, indicating a positive result in the garbage bin. He then gets excited, thinking that they will have a baby. But to his disappointment, his girlfriend declares that she does not want to keep the baby. He keeps insisting on keeping it, but his girlfriend says she has already made up her mind to abort the baby. He then loses his temper and starts cursing his girlfriend. In response, the girlfriend blocks him, and as a result, they cannot hear each other and they appear as a silhouette to each other. This makes Mr. Drunk angrier. The following day, the girlfriend decides to leave. Mr. Drunk chases her to apologize for his shitty behavior last night, but he is still blocked, so she cannot hear him. After a week, Mr. Drunk decides to ask their colleagues where she is, as she still has not come back. But they say she already left, but they do not know her whereabouts. He completely misses his girlfriend, but he cannot even see her photo, as her image is also censored for him. One day, he encounters his girlfriend walking, and based on her silhouette, he figures out that she keeps the baby. So he tries to confront her about it, but she refuses to turn off the block and shouts for help. A concerned citizen calls the police. As a result, the police legally block him. This means that the police ban him from going near to her. Meanwhile, a GPS will signal the police if he ever goes near her, and he will instantly get arrested. This time, he does not have an option to communicate with her but a letter. So he keeps sending a letter to his girlfriend's house. But sadly, he never receives a reply from her. Desperate to know about their baby, he decides to watch his girlfriend's family house from afar, hoping he can see a glimpse of their baby. The girlfriend soon arrives with their baby, but to his shock, the baby also appears as a silhouette to him. Apparently, the legal block also applies to the offspring of his girlfriend. However, this does not stop him from coming back to visit the baby from afar. Once a year, every Christmas, he visits his girlfriend's house just to see the baby grow up. And one time, he leaves a present for the baby, and at that moment, he figures out for the first time that the child is a girl. He then thinks that he has a daughter. One day, he is watching TV when he sees on the news that his girlfriend died from an accident, making him completely devastated. He can now see the face of his girlfriend on the TV as the block is gone with her death. This also means that he can now finally see the child's face too. So the next Christmas, he prepares a snow globe present and visits the child in his girlfriend's family house. To his disappointment, the child looks exactly like their colleague. At that moment, he finally realizes that his girlfriend has had a secret affair with her colleague. Filled with anger and confusion, he comes inside the house to confront the girlfriend's father. The father then reveals that he throws the letter sent by Mr. Drunk before the girlfriend can read it. Upon knowing this, Mr. Drunk completely loses his mind and smashes the father's head with the snow globe, leading to the father's death. After his murderous act, he simply leaves the house, and the police eventually pick him up. The police then inform him that the child ended up freezing to death when she walked out of the house alone to seek help. Although he is guilty of the crime, he refuses to confess to the police. Back to the present, Mr. Drunk realizes that the bird clock in the cabin looks exactly like the father's bird clock. After Mr. Drunk narrates his crime, Mr. Geek asks him if he confessed, as Mr. Geek puts his snow globe present to the table. Mr. Drunk suddenly sees the child's dead body outside the cabin, and he tearfully says that he confesses to the crime. After that, Mr. Geek suddenly celebrates and says that he is coming out. It turns out the cabin only has a virtual existence, and the Mr. Drunk in the virtual cabin is only a cookie extracted from the real Mr. Drunk. Also, Mr. Drunk's 5 years with Mr. Geek in the cabin are just virtually produced so as to manipulate Mr. Drunk's cookie into confessing his crime. As a result, they can prove in the real world that the real Mr. Drunk is guilty of that crime. As Mr. Geek successfully finishes his tasks, he comes out of the virtual cabin and is now sent back to reality in the police station during Christmas Day. The detective then goes to the real Mr. Drunk to announce that he is already proven guilty. It's then revealed that Mr. Geek is also proven guilty for his illegal service and his failure to report the murder incident. So, Mr. Geek made up a deal with the detectives that he would let Mr. Drunk confess in exchange for his own freedom. He then asks the detective if he can go now. In response, the detective lets him go, but with the condition that he is forever blocked by everyone as the red flag target. He then walks outside, and to his shock and desperation, he sees that everyone is censored, and he is also censored from everyone. This means that although Mr. Geek is set free, he will forever live isolated, as he is forbidden to talk with anyone. His Christmas is completely white, as he sees a sea of people's white silhouette outside. Meanwhile, inside the police station, an officer sets the virtual cabin's time into 1,000 years per minute. This means that for every minute in reality, Mr. Drunk's cookie has to experience 1,000 years inside the virtual cabin while the same Christmas song plays repeatedly. The officer asks the detective if he should turn it off, but the detective says to leave the settings for an entire day, meaning that in the end, Mr. Drunk's cookie will spend a gruesome million years inside the cabin, hearing the same Christmas song play over and over again. This is Daniel's CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.